Hello there, welcome to my views and news. Around 24 hours ago, Ethiopia and Somaliland reached a deal, which is basically in the form of MOU so far. And this MOU has created regional shockwaves, especially in Ethiopian neighborhood. We have been waiting for reaction from Somalia. How is Somalia going to respond? So we have received now some information about response from Somalia. The deal, as I mentioned in last night's live chat in detail, is about the establishment of an Ethiopian military base in Somaliland and use of a port in Somaliland by Ethiopia. For 50 years, Ethiopia is set to acquire this 20-kilometer long piece of land, the coastal area on lease. In return, Ethiopia will recognize Somaliland, and Somaliland will have shares in, in Ethiopian Airline, which is a very profitable Ethiopian entity. How does Somalia see this development? Because Somalia has claims to Somaliland. Somaliland is not a recognized country. It's a self-declared country, unrecognized by international community, by Somalia, by Africa. So how is Al-Shabaab responding? How is Somaliland opposition responding? How is Somalia's government responding? A statement from Farmajo, Abdullahi Farmajo. Farmajo is former president, but he was a key ally of the Prime Minister of Ethiopia. If you remember, I think it was 2018 when Farmajo, Isas Afwerki, and Abiy signed a tripartite agreement. But Farmajo used strong language against Ethiopian government a few hours ago. Details for you in this video. Firstly, Somaliland. Somaliland government is obviously very happy. We are hearing from government officials saying that it's a landmark deal. It's a game changer. Why? Because if Ethiopia recognizes Somaliland, it would be a big development. Other African countries might follow as well. Secondly, Somaliland is going to have shares in Ethiopian Airlines, which is a very profitable entity. How is Somalia responding? Firstly, Al Shabaab. Al Shabaab has issued a statement. Ali Dhire is Al Shabaab's spokesperson through social media. He has released an audio message rejecting Ethiopia's Somaliland Memorandum of Understanding MOU. He says this deal is unlawful, invalid, and Al Shabaab will fight against it. Al-Shabaab does not have immense penetration in Somaliland, while land has managed to keep Al-Shabaab away from its borders. But Al-Shabaab has been opposing Ethiopian military presence in Somalia. Now, this deal between Somaliland and Ethiopia will be used as a propaganda point by Al-Shabaab against Ethiopian government. So Al-Shabaab has rejected the deal. Somaliland opposition parties are silent. Not a single statement from UCID, Wadani, and others. These opposition parties campaigned against Musi Bhai Abdi last year. Musi Bhai Abdi's term expired. Musi Bhai Abdi is on extension. But so far, no statement from opposition parties. What will opposition do? Will it back the deal, or will it take a pro-Somalia position? We are waiting for that. So far, no statement from opposition parties. Now, Somalia. Somalia's government is holding an emergency meeting today. Cabinet meeting has been called. Last night, PM office held a meeting, a preparatory meeting for today's meeting. So today, Somalia's government will take an official position about Somaliland Ethiopia memorandum of understanding. But we have seen statements from two Somalia's government officials. Firstly, Somalia's president's special envoy to Somaliland, Abdi Karim Hussein, spoke, saying that the deal between Somaliland and Ethiopia is unlawful. Secondly, Somalia's Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources spoke. His name is Abdi Rizak Muhammad. He also says that Somalia is indivisible and Ethiopia cannot violate Somalia's territorial integrity. But official position of Somalia is awaited. In after a few hours, we could see statement from Somalia's government. We're waiting for that statement. Meanwhile, opposition parties, opposition political figures have issued statements leading to building of pressure on Somalia's government, Hassan Sheikh's government. Which opposition leaders have issued statements so far in Somalia? What are they saying? Firstly, Abdullahi Farmajo, former president of Somalia, spoke last night. Abdullahi Farmajo used words like greed, Ethiopian greed for Somalia's land and sea. Almost quote unquote, that is what he wrote. So he criticized Ethiopian government, saying that this MOU is a violation of international law, Charter of African Union. It will endanger peace and stability. And he asked members of parliament, he asked Hassan Sheikh especially by name, that Hassan Sheikh, the president, should protect Somalia's territorial integrity and sovereignty. Abdullah Farmajo, who was a key ally of the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Abiy, has rejected this MOU. Then we saw statements from other opposition politicians, other political elite members of Somalia. Mohamed Hussein Roble, former prime minister, spoke. And again, he used very strong language rejecting this MOU. Sharif Sheikh, former president, spoke. Hassan Ali Kharis has issued a statement to all have rejected this memorandum of understanding. They want government to respond now. What will government do? We'll see after a few hours. Obviously, Somalia's government is set to reject this memorandum of understanding. And by the way, opposition politicians in Somalia might use this opportunity to weaken Hassan Sheikh's government, to put pressure upon Hassan Sheikh's government. Hassan Sheikh will have to be very calm and calculated. Hassan Sheikh's government has very close relations with those countries which are not on good terms with Ethiopia these days. Will Hassan Sheikh government take a strong position? Will it announce some measures? Or will it just issue a statement that we'll see in coming hours? Meanwhile, I think that Lasanud, the part of Somaliland which turned into a conflict zone last year, could be a battleground in coming weeks and months. Somaliland's forces have been trying to crush an uprising in Lasanud, but SSC Khatomo forced Somaliland forces out of Lasanud. SSC Khatomo, the party there, the fighters there, they want to join Somalia. Somalia remained largely neutral in the fight between SSC Khatomo and Somaliland's forces. But now, if Somaliland and Ethiopian government stick to this deal, Somalia will definitely interfere, not just in Lasanud, but in other parts of Somaliland as well. I think the immediate consequence of this MOU is that Somaliland talks, which started in Djibouti 3 to 4 days ago, and a deal was signed, the talks could collapse. And we could see tensions on Ethiopia-Somalia border, Somaliland-Somalia border. So coming 1 month is a very crucial. By the way, we heard a few months ago that US was interested in establishing a military base in Somaliland. US military officers visited the site in Somaliland. And we know that when Musi Abdi visited the US, I think last year, he offered a military base to the US in Somaliland in return for recognition of Somaliland as a country. Did you see any reaction from Hassan Sheikh's government back then or from Ajo's government? No, I did not hear any statement condemning US moves to establish a military base. US wants to have some presence in Somaliland, but Somalia is not worried about that. UAE developed Berbera port. UAE is a shareholder in Berbera port. 50% share in Berbera port are owned by the UAE. Did Somali political elite took strong position against UAE's entry in Somaliland? No, I don't think that Somalia was very concerned about the MOU signed, the agreement signed between UAE and Somaliland's government in 2017, before that as well. So why is that now suddenly when Somaliland is signing a deal with Ethiopia, there is so much criticism in Somalia against Ethiopian government? Criticism is coming against Ethiopian government mainly. Hussein Roble, Farmajo, all criticized Ethiopian government. They're not criticizing Musi Abdi or Somaliland's government. Much of their criticism is against Ethiopian government. So I see Ethiopia-Somalia relations deteriorate in coming days. Regional players will be involved. A lot depends on today's statement by Somalia's government. What will the government say? How far will it go in stopping this deal? Will it resort to legal proceedings? Will it mobilize its military towards Lassanu, towards other parts of Somaliland? Will it try to create tensions on Ethiopia-Somalia border? Though Somalia's government has limited capabilities in terms of military strength, but still there could be tensions. Let's see what happens. A lot of coming videos about reaction from Somalia's government. So far, the Somalia-Ethiopia relations are set to deteriorate in coming days. Thank you for watching.